folks. Welcome, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the 13th of December 2023, and here you are listening to me. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is the Doug Wright Show. I don't know. It's music AI. It's as close to AI as I care to go. I mean, you know, what's it AI? No, I don't know. Cut the music. Oh, man, I love that power. Do you hear the power when you cut the music? Look at DougRice.com and then go look at DougRice.com. Please do that. I have such pride in this expressionist art before its time. Dated 2007. If you go to DougRice.com, you'll be forwarded to theDougRiceShow.com, where you can pick up some PDFs for free for donating to me. Yeah, buddy, how you doing? Well, folks, here we are. Yes, sir. Here we are, fresh off the presses, fresh from in front of Netflix, and leaving the world behind. Well, let me tell you, folks, I got a lot on my mind about this particular offering. And we are going to go through it item by item. And we're going to see what they're proffering. All right, so here's the thing, folks. I watched the movie with my wife. And now, for those of you who don't know, I'm married 21 years with Lena. She is from Texarkana, Arkansas, and incapable of bullshit. Okay. That being said, first thing out of her mouth after the movie's over, she says, they're trying to tell us something. They're telegraphing. They're trying to predict the future of this country, and woe any Negro that remains to see it to fruition. Now, she didn't say exactly that, but she did, and I paraphrase say that they were telegraphing in the most direct and obvious way. Yeah, it was an interesting flick, and Julia Roberts was the perfect person to play her part in that role, because I will tell you, folks, she was not acting. Stop. Okay, stop. You know, when she talked about something that Martin Luther King did for her as a baby, I just knew that she probably raised her hand for this movie. She knows Obama, so I know that his correlation between Obama and this movie is striking. It is indeed. Mr. Obama, as we all know, slipped during an interview, during a show. He said that folks criticized him because of his Islamic faith, and then corrected himself and said something else. But that aside, the telegraphing in my mind was obvious to the point that I now, after this narrative, after giving you my review of this movie as much as I'm able, I'm going to give you some news that correlates to this table of just the mechanism used. Let me tell you something, folks. This country will lose. What's happening is as predictable as what was said in the movie. A three-stepped attack that they found real groovy, you know? First isolation, then infuriation, and then annihilation. I made that up myself just right now, because that's the three-pronged attack that brother was talking about. Isolation, they've already tested the system. They're testing it now. They're testing what they can do to the system somehow to the Ukrainians. And I understand that the system is failing and it's driving them insane. You know, everything's down in Ukraine, okay? So now the infrastructure of this country is being tapped from place to place. And it's almost as if they're putting the proof of what's happening in our face. Yes, that movie was amazing. Yes, leave the world behind. And I will say it as I said when I was on with Sister E. They needed to go ahead and make the title completely, leave the white world behind, because that's what this world is doing. And they're inclined to ruin these white people's minds. Let's stop with the subterfuge. Let's stop with the double talk. You understand? Enough of the lies, folks. I'm about to walk. They are at war with European ideology. They're at war with colonialistic, opportunistic, altruistic. They're at war with those they associate with the white race. Now, I'm going to put that phraseology right in its place. Now, those that associate themselves incorrectly with this whiteified ideology, this made-up caucasity, this abhorrent veracity, this thing that somehow cures and creates, well, it also satiates the violence. Well, folks, listen, look, the movie was amazing. It had me shook. I kid you not. I want to read the book. I have not read the book. I understand there were some additions that Obama saw fit to include. And we talked about that on Sister E's show. Right now, I can't remember too much of it. You know, I just want to focus on the details that caught my eye. And a lot of the information, you know, that 1619 tune in to the radio, if that wasn't as obvious as hell, then I don't know. What is it that Obama is saying? Let me say something, folks, because I'm not playing. Obama's not us. Obama is not a Negro. Now, and it's not just because I said so. Now he can pull off the swag. You know what I'm saying? He read a Jet Mag. He did a few things. He can even sing a little bit, play a little ball. He can do it all. But Obama is not a Negro, you know. So, what's happening? By all intents and purposes, this was more or less an Islamic effort. This was connective tissue to Muslim issues. Now, there is the saying, and I'm not playing, Obama's supposed to be Islamic. All I can imagine is that this man is he's just Obamic. I don't know. I don't know if he's Islamic or not. I don't know. He can be anything. He's also a chameleon. He's a chameleon. And this movie, I see why white society is upset with this movie, with Obama's association so tunely, closely associated with the movie. I can see why they're upset, because he's telling them to prepare. He's telling them right there that it's about to go down. Now, if it goes down, where will Obama go? Because he ain't going to show up on the Doug Rice show, that's for sure. All right, thanks so much, folks, for tuning in. It's 4:08, the 13th of December, so it's not too late. It's just here in the afternoon in Phoenix. And as I read the news, as I watch the videos and the movie, I seen it. I saw the connection, the testing of our infrastructure, the fact that it comes from the Chinese or it comes from the South Korean or North Koreans. Does it come from Russia? You know what I mean? And what are you going to do if you're a Negro trapped within the confines of this constantly illicit combined caucasity? What will you do? What will you do? I suspect Kevin Bacon in this movie. I like Kevin Bacon, 6 Degrees of Separation from Kevin Bacon. Everybody's supposed to know this man. And the only difference I would have played in his plan is that I probably would not have negotiated anything, because he was right. What good do they bring? Now, I want to say this. Here's what I said to my wife when I saw Kevin Bacon almost lose his life in this movie. Here's what I said. I would have asked that man and probably well before the drawing of guns, I'd have tried on him this one. I'd have said, listen, did we make some sort of agreement between ourselves, our families, as you watched me go in and out of the store prepping? Did you and I have a conversation that said that to the effect that, hey, I see you prepping, I'm a prepper too, or I want to be interested in, if you have a plan, I want to have a plan. And, if something goes down, you and we're going to communicate and we're going to commiserate. And before it's too late, we everything might be great. Did you at once, anytime, come to me and say that? See, no. What you did was you looked at me, come and go, gather my belongings, and just so prepare for this very hour. And now that I seem to have the power, you knock at my door and just want a little more for your son's sore. But you see, what I would have asked you after the answer would have been given, because the answer would have been no, I didn't know how you were living. Then I would have said, well, when would it stop my giving to you? Because we've never made a pact, we've never agreed, we've never talked about this, you see? And so now you come to me after seeing and knowing that I'm prepared, and now you stand out there, right there, ask me for help. My only question is, when will the help stop? When do I have to stop giving so that you may keep living? You watched me prepare, and now you stand there. That's what I would have included in the conversation between Kevin Bacon and that brother from the African nation. Oh, yeah, I said that. I'm sorry. All right, anyway, so yeah, that's part of that. There was some good honesty from the female character there, from Pretty Woman. Yeah, she had some good dialogue after they had to come back to the house. Now, see, the daughter had the right idea. The brother's daughter had the right idea. They'd have come back to that house and they'd have had a rude awakening from me. See, I'd have played this a little bit different because, as I said, and as she said while she was talking to her father, that what's the end result going to be? At what point have they ever proven to be trustworthy? At what point have you ever seen the European man play the field clean? When have you ever seen them keep their word? Because that's something, folks, I have never heard. So where would you rather be in this movie? Would you rather be the brother that took off early before all of this got started, created your own ability to, get on your own and depart? Maybe, I don't know, maybe you got a soft heart. But again, I'll ask you, and plainly, squarely, I'm just asking outright, do you think them folks are going to ever treat you right? You think that in those circumstances, yeah, the smiles and the grins and the bring it all in are going to be at the beginning. We know that because they just won't stop grinning. But the history of these beings, as far as I'm seeing, is that they never play, again, the field clean. They don't play fair. And there it is there. It was a good film. It was a good movie. I don't watch movies too often, but that one piqued my interest on Sister E's live. So if you please, I did dive. All right, there we go, folks. That's partly that. A few other things I want to show you, let you know what's happening so that you might get educated. Let's try some connective tissue with the issue of what we saw on in the movie. I think that would be rather groovy. I do indeed. Let me tell you what I mean. So one thing the movie talked about was cyber attacks. One of the things the movie talked about was cyber attacks, okay? Now there's a guy, and I probably recommend him to you. I'm going to share him right now while I have you in front of me. Ha. All right, I'm going to put him in chat. It's the only time I really take a look at chat. All right. Now this guy is Steve Ram. I've shared this gentleman before. There he is. All right. Hold on. Let me get the sound in this cut because they'll just say what. All right. So there's Mr. Ram. I put him in the chat as link. Go like and subscribe to this man's channel. He's got almost 500,000 channels. Steve Ram is his name. Let me tell you what he's saying, and let me tell you what he's saying. Okay. Terrifying cyber attacks to U.S. to arrive. FBI issues public safety warning. This, my friends, this, ladies and germs, this was 1 hour ago. Now, I watched the movie during this report. That's how interesting this is. All right, so let's take a listen, and here we go. Thanks again to tune in for the Doug Rice Show.
News coming out today that terrifying cyber attacks on critical infrastructures have arrived. America is not ready that we are hearing from experts, and the FBI issuing a warning. This all coming out in the past 24 hours. Articles linked in the description below. FBI issues public safety warning for the holidays for those in the United States, as they're saying that there could be attacks to avoid crowds. I'm going to give you all the details. And there are public safety warnings now popping up in various cities around the nation. I heard that we had one here in the city of Houston. Also, I heard that there was also another one in New York and one in Los Angeles as well. So they're saying be on the lookout in big cities, avoid crowds. And also they're saying that the cyber attacks we've been hearing about, that they are confirmed, they are here. There are various different cities, infrastructure systems that are compromised. Now I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. And as I mentioned, all of these are linked in the description below. I see we've got some people on with me live. We've got 317 people. Please.
So I'm going to let him go on. I know what he does. He loves to talk to the folks, and this is a great guy. Again, I'm going to tell you, anybody that I promote and highlight on this show is somebody that you need to know. He's a great reporter. His politics aside, if you can, go ahead and ignore those and let that glide, let that slide, okay? The reporting of this guy, SteveRamNews.com. Go to his website and see what he's on. I like him. He does what he's doing. I'll back up a little bit so we can get a little bit into it. So, but he's a good dude, and he reports well. He reports well what he sees, and I just believe that he's a decent dude. So let's listen to him a little.
FBI has just issued a public safety warning in the past 24 hours for the holidays in the United States. To be on the lookout, be careful. Please avoid large crowds. They're saying that there is a heightened alert like we've never seen for a potential attack. And also, in addition to that, information coming out, literally reading in the title, terrifying cyber attacks on critical infrastructures have arrived in the United States. Experts saying America is not ready. Now, I know that this is not the information that anybody wants to hear, but I like to make sure that people have the information. Knowledge is power, and us knowing this is taking place is half of the battle. We can prepare and not be caught off guard. And if you appreciate that, do me a quick favor, smash the like button. If you agree with me that knowledge is power, subscribe to stay up to date. If this is your first time here, it's totally free. Why not hit the subscribe button? Now, in addition to that, what I'm going to be covering here is we just received word also that these cyber attacks that are being claimed by China, they're also wanting to hit social media platforms. So I wanted to mention very quickly before we dive into the information that if they hit these platforms, I will no longer be able to post for you guys. I could potentially lose access to you. So just today, just a little while ago, I've created a newsletter. I've created an opt-in. You just put in your email, your name and your email. I'm not super sophisticated, but I've added it. It is at www.
So while he does that, again, this gentleman is on point when it comes to his discussions and what he's talking about. There are some other problems that you may want to know about. And while he's talking and he's just giving his bona fides, let me tell you as well, we have an immigration problem that's going on in this country. Now, I'm going to share this one with you as well. And before I do, understand, folks, I'm out here in Phoenix, Arizona, and what we're about to see is happening on the border of Phoenix, of Arizona and Texas, and it leads a lot of folks to want to get out of here and go up north. Let's listen and see what's happening, all right?
Let's bring in Chris Clem now, former Border Patrol chief for the Yuma, Arizona sector. He started his career in El Paso. Thank you very much for joining us. First, weigh in, please, as we continue to see these live pictures of very clearly migrants continuing to overwhelm our southern border, both in Texas and Arizona, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Thank you for continuing this coverage. This is like a horror version of Groundhog Day, the movie. This has been going on for the last several years in this administration. I was just in Lukeville last week, witnessed it firsthand, 1,000 people on the ground, mainly adult males, some family groups there. But you're seeing this just like in Griff's report from Eagle Pass, all the way to Lukeville, Arizona. This has been going on day in and day out for the last several years. And I'm glad that there are governors and some independent mayors and people stand up saying enough is enough. We have got to send a clear message to Washington that, you know what, you messed up. The policy that you put in place are not working, and Americans and the migrants are paying the price.
Well, outnumbered and out-resourced, this is the Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs calling on federal reimbursement. Listen.
Arizona can't do this alone, nor should we have to. We're asking the federal government to reimburse us for the costs to Arizonans. For far too long, Arizona has borne the brunt of federal inaction on our southern border, and I'm tired of it.
This is bipartisan outrage over this happening. Does that give you some sort of hope that they'll be able to push the White House on this issue?
Well, that's what we have to bank on, is that some of the members of the president's own party are very frustrated. I'm glad that she went down there to the border. She's been dealing with this and been aware of this since she took office. That reimbursement is really to pay, the state and government and local agencies that have been, dealing with the releases and the shelters. And Arizona taxpayers like myself shouldn't have to bear the brunt of a federal problem. And, what's so amazing about this is if a state was to take action to try to take, decisive enforcement actions, this same administration would come after them. And that's where this hypocrisy coming out of Washington, D.C., when it comes down to this border is beyond, frustrating. And, again, this was fixed. We were at the best place and the most secure border that I had been working with at that point, 25 years. And it all got changed. I think nothing more than political spite and just frustration with the previous administration. We were getting there, and they really wasted some opportunities here.
And Chris, I keep highlighting these live images because, we're showing them. This is our Fox flight team. Otherwise, you wouldn't be seeing these images. This is constant. This flow is constant. We were this time yesterday covering the exact same story and a steady flow of migrants coming over.
Okay, folks, so I wanted to pause first for the cause to ask you, like, subscribe, share. Hitting the like button, I think down there, it helps my algorithms. But let's take a close look at this photo, shall we? Let's take a close look. Now, look the captions. I don't typically watch Fox. I watch everything, okay? 5,000 migrants being released into the United States per day, being released. Now, what that means, ladies and germs, this is Texas. And I'm sure they've already talked about Arizona, but what that means, brothers and sisters, that these folks are processed in and given things that you and I must go through a process in order to get these things. So while they are processed in, we have to process through and with and to, and whether you understand this, let me give it to you in a more simplified way. Once they're processed in, they're handed all they need for identification. They're handed clothing, they're handed housing, they're handed the opportunity to get jobs, they're handed all of these things, and they're handed these things under the threat that if they're not giving these things by certain institutions, those institutions will be penalized. Now, if you need help, and I will tell you this, I know this from personal experience. If you need help, you have to call a number, wait online, and hope that you get there on time to receive help as a citizen of this country, which is meaningless to me. Let's just say this, you'll see. Because it's interesting, the dynamic, the dichotomy of the differentiation between one present hearing to come and the other present nation. So these folks are coming here and they're just being given everything as soon as they get near. And there's no question, there's no hesitation, there is no conflagration, there is nothing that stops them from being built up, and they prop these folks. So now, setting aside all jokes, hundreds have been crossing into Arizona through a gap in the fence line that they built. Look at the line that they see. I don't know, it looks to me like this thing has gotten out of hand, but let's see where this whole thing lands.
having to be processed by these Border Patrol agents. You mentioned frustration. There's frustration all over the country. You just heard from the governor of Arizona, a Democrat. Here's the New York City Mayor Adams expressing frustration about the border. There was this meeting in D.C. just last week. Here's the mayor.
Did not see the level of urgency. I'm just not seeing the White House and their colleagues up there understanding that we need a decompression strategy. Cities should not be carrying the burden of a national crisis. And when I left D.C., I did not walk out and say that, the cavalry is coming.
All right, so he's acknowledging this is a national crisis. He's dealing with this right here in New York City. He said, I'm just not seeing the White House and their colleagues up there understanding that we need a strategy. Here's the border crisis by the numbers, Chris. This is what we're looking at. 5,000 migrants released every day into the country. We had a record 12,000 migrants that were encountered. This was just last week. That is the highest number ever. Do you see any signs of this abating?
Well, no. And, let me just say something about Mayor Adams. He sent his team down the border last year. I met with his team and we explained that this is what was happening. This is what was coming to a city near them. And, I'm glad they're finally getting very frustrated and vocal. But look, this is what those numbers that you're showing is something that we lived for the last few years, what I lived as chief and what they're living right now. I don't see any abatement. And what's happening is, what the administration is putting forth as far as their budget is to, expedite and efficiently process these migrants once they're in our custody to get them released. That is again a pull factor that other guests and other people have talked about. If there is not a consequence, if there's no reason to stop them, they're going to keep coming. And if we're just going to put technology to efficiently process them, that's a continuous pull factor. We've got to shut it down. We need to get the border secure. We need to get things in place. And then at that point, can we address what that lawful pathway should be?
Okay. Chris Klum, thank you very much for joining us as we.
Okay, folks. So thank you again for showing up to the Doug Rice Show. I hope you were listening to the stats. I hope you caught everything that they threw at you. And the reason I think it's important, first and foremost, I want to get those stats that were up here. If I can find those suckers, I thought I could find them myself. I don't think I can. There were, there it is. Wait, it was 5, something like that. Anyway, well, I can't find them. But the fact of the matter is all of this is, there they are. Here we go. There they are. There they are. You see that right there, folks? 5,000 migrants released every day into the communities. December 5th, a record 12,000 migrants encountered. Migrants to CBE agents in Tucson sector, 200 to 1. Now, before anybody gets in their funky little feelings about this, let me tell you, because I don't want to miss. I don't care that people are coming here. I will move out of the way. I will get further. I will smell better and everything will be okay. Okay? I'm not threatened by the brown. I'm not threatened they're coming to town. No, they're not going to take anything from me personally because I got nothing to take. Believe me, for goodness sake. But here's the deal though. It's a mechanism of use that these individuals serve. And let me tell you, folks, their sinister nerve, not them, but those that are using them, because I've heard this repeated over and over, that they're there to replace Negroes, kind of a turnover. As they pour into the cities and towns, the population of Negroes goes down. You think I'm playing? Because I'm hearing what they're saying. Now, who's they? These are the folks I listen to. I listen to T.I. Ministries. I listen to Brother Yacoba, Brother Tao. I listen to Dante Fortson. I listen to Big Judah. I listen to Sister E. I advise you just don't listen to me. I give you fair warning, brothers and sisters. Danger is afoot. I kid you not. Okay? These individuals have no proclivity towards stopping their activity. They will take this as far as they can take it. And let me tell you, folks, they can break it. And they will. And they'll break it more still. This country is broken beyond repair. Soon it's just going to be sitting there. You better understand what's in the air. You better understand the intention of these other nations toward the United States and their intended station. They are about to break these Americans down like a fraction with some sinister, high-level interaction. Step 1, step 2, step 3. You saw the movie, right? First the isolation, and then the agitation, and then annihilation. You think they're playing? You think they're playing? Ask yourself why Obama was behind this movie. Ask yourself why the movie mirrors real life. You don't think it mirrors real life? Let me show you something. Let me show you something real quick, because this, my folks, is real deal business. This is 38 minutes ago. 38 minutes ago, okay? Just so you know. 38 minutes ago. And let's put it in the show, okay? Hold on. Before I put it on the screen, I want you to know from where I'm seeing all of this before you miss the gist of this. All right, look. Listen carefully. This is 38 minutes ago from NY Prepper.
Hi guys, it's Greg here, aka NY Prepper. It is Wednesday, December 13th, 2023, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 4:23 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from the FBI, DHS, and the National Counterterrorism Center. So yesterday they posted this public service announcement warning about terror attacks through the holiday season and throughout winter. They specifically mention lone actor violence targeting large public gatherings throughout the winter, including holiday-related, faith-based New Year's Eve and First Amendment protected events related to the conflict going on in the Middle East.
Now, let me pause for the cause and let you check that out. First thing first, folks, before I start shouting, all right? Here's what they have at the border. They've got military-age Chinese nationals showing up at the Mexican border off border of Texas and Arizona, just want to come to the United States and chill for a minute. What? What? No, healthy individuals hiding their faces and whatnot. You think I'm playing? You start listening to what I'm saying, because when the lone wolf starts striking, it ain't gonna be nothing you gonna be liking. I tell you that right now. And remember, the chaos must ensue. And let me tell you what's gonna happen, the agitation through and through. Once they begin to scratch their itch, life in this country will be a bitch, man. Because you let those that are accustomed to having not have. You hear me? You let something be dirty and not be able to take a bath. You let them get ugly, and they're going to show you how ugly gets. The best in front of this country, man. Look, I'm going to tell you, folks, read the warnings. What are the signs? I mean, the graduation keeps growing in my mind. The FBI director, the chief federal connector, says, I see flashing red lights everywhere. I see warning signs everywhere I look. You think this man got in front of Lindsey Graham to get shook? My God, he was answering Lindsey's questions respectively. You need to understand this, man. This ain't no joke. These folks is about to These folks are about to get on some smoke. All right, here we go. You don't believe, look, NY Prepper, he's a solid man. Listen to this man as much as you can. Go right now, join, subscribe. Hey, give him a thumbs up. Do that too. All right, let's hear the rest of it.
Okay, so I want to just read to you what they wrote here, but I've been warning you guys for weeks now to be on high alert. I've been telling you guys to be aware of your surroundings, avoid large public gatherings where you have a lot of people crammed into a small area. That's like the textbook terrorist attack, is to go after mass gatherings where you have a lot of people packed into a small area so they can inflict the maximum amount of casualties. So avoid those types of areas if you can. And anytime you go out into a public area, especially a large city, be aware of your surroundings, use your peripheral vision, make sure you know where cover and concealment is at all times. Be aware of exits, so if you have to get out of an area, you can get out quickly, and carry self-defense tools if it's legal to do so in your area.
Now, let me tell you about a self-fulfilling prophecy. First, Negroes, I do not subscribe to that kind of alert status in your lives. You are not a part of the system that they are so frightened and terrified of missing. No. For Negroes, this is not a game and there is no guessing. You know that the end is near for them. And so you don't have to joke around or pretend. All you got to do is give them 10, 15 feet, okay? And just keep your head on a swivel. But this kind of talk, and this is not against New York Prepper, but the agitation and that alertness within these folks gives off a different vibration, okay? And the results of them wearing that alertness is not good for their nation. They are primed and ready to go to war. They keep talking about it more and more. It's just a status quo for these folks, man. They try to get it on just as much as they can. All right, now I can do what I need to do. Listen to some more of this.
So let me read to you what they wrote here. The FBI, DHS, and the National Counterterrorism Center assess that ongoing tensions related to the conflict between Israel and Hamas likely heighten the threat of lone actor violence targeting large public gatherings throughout the winter, including holiday-related faith-based New Year's Eve and First Amendment-protected events related to the conflict. Although this announcement is not in response to any specific plotting activity, these targets likely remain attractive to lone actors inspired by a range of ideologies due to their accessibility and symbolic nature. Since the Hamas attack on October 7th, various foreign terrorist media organizations have called for lone actor attacks in the United States. Racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists have also increased calls for violence and celebrated attacks on the Jewish community. Lone actors may seek to disrupt or escalate violence at large gatherings, high-profile events, or symbolic or religious locations throughout the winter. Such gatherings could become a convenient target for those in.
So while he reads that, and I'm sure you can read along, I'm going to do everybody a favor. We're going to move on, just because it's not just about these cyber attacks. It's about the banking that is going down as well. And I'm going to give you this one for you to listen to. So I am a victim of what's happening with Bank of America. I can tell the story. It's victimizing me now. Their ACH threw up on the 2nd of November. And that is about as much as I can remember, because just like a lot of folks, they're draining folks' account, they're closing accounts, they're apologizing about ACH. And it's not looking good these days. But this gentleman, Ron Yates, who I recommend to all of you, you may not like his politics, but hey, what you going to do? You can't like everybody's politics. But he is a solid brother. He gives very, very good news. And I want you to listen to just a little bit of what he has to say.
A bank just charged a fraud victim thousands of dollars in overdraft fees after a thief took away all their savings. Wow. Now, I understand that we all have different experiences with banks, right? Whether it be Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, Capital One, whichever one you happen to feel comfortable banking with. Although there are times when crooks and thieves take each and every opportunity that they can to attack vulnerable targets. Mostly those who may be older, people who usually receive Social Security benefits, SSI, SSDI, or are already retired. Now, before we begin, guys, I want to go ahead and tell you right now that this one story that we're going to start with, it's absolutely heartbreaking.
At 95 years old, Virginia Weimer lives a simple life, but she says a crook has turned things upside down after gaining access to her checking account and draining it. She tells me Bank of America reimbursed her the $13,000 the criminal took, but an overdraft protection on the account means $4,237.83 went to her Bank of America credit card. The bank denied her claim pertaining to the credit card, leaving her on the hook for the crook's charges.
Now, let me tell you, folks, this is not just an isolated incident, and I'm not trying to curry favor for any individual or particular person. This is happening to everybody. The banks, both Chase and Bank of America, these folks are telegraphing not only bad times, they're unforgiving when there are mistakes. And when I say unforgiving, folks, for goodness sakes, they're merciless. I have literally had a 5-week struggle with Bank of America because they've neglected to process ACH in my own account, my own business, which has effectively shut me down. So I'm now forced to more likely move. And all of this, by chance I can prove, but it's just amazing in how much they can take away in just one simple snafu on a freaking winter day. I can't believe I landed there, but let's move on. I want to get somewhere. Let's take a look at the weather. The weather is acting up again, and you know me, folks. I love to show you what we're doing, and this is pretty intense stuff. You'll see it here shortly enough. And let me make sure that you know this is the last days. This is the reason I put last days under here in a kind of a weird way, so that it gives them their props. We are witnessing the last days unfold, and let's see the story they told. Let's see what the weather's going on. All 12th and 11th cataclysms for the 12th yesterday and today, the 13th. Tornado in the United States, tsunami in Europe, hurricane in Russia. Wow, birth pangs.
Hello friends, you're on the Last Days channel. Thank you so much for your engagement and support. And so, a review of events for December 12th and 13th. Gaza Strip, Palestine. The situation in the Gaza Strip, Palestine, is critical today. Empty shelves, lack of drinking water, medicine, and unsanitary conditions are causing serious concerns. Locals report that it is almost impossible to get any food at all at the moment. The supply of goods to the area has been completely cut off. All supplies have been depleted and people literally have nothing to eat. The United Nations is sounding the alarm and says that specialists are doing everything possible to help people in this difficult situation. However, the situation is getting worse by the hour. There is no electricity in the city, so cooking food requires building a fire. Buying food is possible only on the black market and for huge sums of money. For example, a kilogram of potatoes costs $3.5. It is unclear where and how people can get such money. Many people in the Gaza Strip are paid irregular salaries, but they have to survive somehow. Aid is reaching Gaza, but it is not reaching all those in need, media reports say. The situation requires urgent measures and solutions to prevent a humanitarian catastrophe in the region.
Now, let me pause here real quick. First, thank you for everyone being here. It's the most people I've ever had. But let me tell you something that makes me so sad. You see how calm and orderly these individuals are being? Let me tell you something. When it happens here, that's not what you're going to be seeing. You understand? These are not those kinds of men. These folks are barbarians. And if there's no food on the shelf left, you can believe this, folks. Ain't gonna be no jokes. Ain't gonna be no jokes. Ain't gonna be no friendliness. Let me tell you, folks, at first there's cooperation. We know that's how it goes in the nation. But then the desperation sets in. Then the desperation and the greed and the consciousness of your hunger need. That's the only kind of thought to seed exactly how they satiate greed. We have this, folks. This is on the way. The pipeline of supply stopped just after the set-in of the virus. I need you to understand that, folks. The supply stopped 3 years ago. Check my math so you know. There is no more supply. Don't believe the lie. And they know there is no more coming. They know there's no more coming. I'm trying to tell Negroes to prepare to start running. Let's continue. You love this? Again, this is Last Days channel, wonderful channel, gives you the great stuff. Everybody that goes, that is here should understand when I recommend a channel or a YouTube channel, I'm going to put it in the chat and I'm going to tell you to go over there real quick, subscribe, thumb up the particular video and come back. So do that, but still stay here. Here we go.
Voronezh, Russia. Snowfall has not stopped for 4 days in Voronezh. The city is literally bogged down in snow. Due to the large amount of precipitation, 84 buses could not go on the line. Ice and snow drifts have formed on the roads, which makes it impossible to move public transportation. Some roads are temporarily blocked. Local residents say that such a snowfall is very rare here. The snowdrifts are so high that cars get stuck in yards. Utility services are doing everything possible to eliminate the consequences of heavy snowfall. All equipment is brought out for round-the-clock cleaning. Residents are asked not to leave cars on the roadway and not to interfere with snow removal. Forecasts of forecasters are disappointing. Snow will continue to fall for several more days. The authorities urge citizens to be careful and not to go out on the streets without an emergency. Chile, South America. Forest fires continue in Chile, which have already managed to harm the population and the environment. In the city of Limache suffered 7 people, and the flames have scorched more than 2,000 hectares of land. Despite the efforts of emergency services, the fires have yet to be extinguished. On Sunday, about 50 fires raged in 3 central regions of Chile, some of which have already been extinguished, but 10 are still raging. The most difficult situation is in the Valparaiso region, where 2 large fires have been registered. All emergency services have been put on high alert. Experts note that not only heat and drought, but also deliberate arson is to blame. Natural fires in Chile are not rare. Only last year the fire destroyed more than 400,000 hectares of land in the country, and at least 25 people died. The authorities have allocated twice as much money to fight forest fires as last year, but this does not help prevent new ignitions. Kamchatka, Russia. Wet snow and rain fell on Kamchatka. Because of this cyclone, rivers formed on the roads. Several districts of the peninsula were flooded. For 12 hours, 30 millimeters of precipitation fell. Due to high temperatures, the snow melted almost immediately, and the capital of Kamchatka turned into a city on water. In order to drain the roads, the public utility workers had to put on wetsuits and clean storm drains knee-deep in slush. All special equipment was involved in street cleaning. In the near future in the region will be sharply colder, and it may lead to ice. In view of this, schools cancel classes, and drivers are advised to refrain from traveling by private vehicles.
Well, as we continue throughout that, I will tell you folks, it's endless. What we see in these last days cannot be unseen, but there are more, even more that is in store. I got another guy that you'll probably like, and his name is Kevin. That's what he goes by. That's this brother right here. I'm going to put his information so that you can lend an ear. Oh, Lord, did not do that. Sorry about that. This guy's name is Kevin, as I said. And let me go ahead and get his link. This gentleman is saying that people cannot afford to buy food. And he's saying to do this instead, but listen to the point that he's making. And again, his name is Kevin. He's got 83,000 subscribers. This he did 7 hours ago. He does some good news reporting. Here we go.
It was rather interesting. And it was some recent headlines. It was actually a video, but it was a video sharing recent headlines about the current financial situation and struggle that many Americans are having and are unable to feed themselves. There's a food shortage, or at the very least, the food banks are running out of food, and crime is skyrocketing. Therefore, theoretically, I would assume that the underlying message here is that people don't have the money to buy food, not like they used to. Therefore, there's less food to be made available to donate to food shelters and kitchens and things like that. And then also assuming that the skyrocketing crime includes theft of potentially food because they can't afford it, or theft of the other items that they need as they are trying to retain whatever money they do have available for food to buy food. The conversation and discussion then goes on to 2, maybe 3 different topics. One being the transfer of wealth. Okay, we have a huge wealth transfer that we are in the middle of right now as we speak. The other was the potential impact on businesses, business owners, and stability, future stability. And then the last one kind of threw me for a loop. And the last one was credit. So here we are, December 13, 2023. We are just a few days away from rolling over the calendar into 2024. And 2024 is going to be interesting. 2024 is going to be wild and crazy, okay? But I think it's worth having the conversation. It's worth talking about, having this discussion about what does 2024 look like? Because yes, everything has gotten more expensive. Yes, I can bring you news headlines and stories. Yes. Also, there was reference pointing out how all of a sudden, at the same time, everyone is directed to provide the same information. And we've seen this just the last 3 days, where Michelle and I, Squirrel Tribe, we were discussing how all of a sudden At the same time, everybody came out with a report confirming how China was taking responsibility for allegedly hacking the different U.S. databases and critical infrastructure at the same time.
Now, I need everybody to understand why I listen to these different people that I keep recommending. This brother, Kevin, I've checked him out for quite a while and listened to his reporting, and he is extremely insightful. He knows what he's talking about. And he's got 26 minutes of this video. I'm gonna let a little bit more of it play. A few other things I want you to hear some other people say, but it's important that we round ourselves out thoroughly when it comes to our informational intake, okay? It's important because we want to have as much information as is required to make the best decision. So, you know, anything that you don't agree with that comes out of some of these folks' mouths, again, eat the meat, spit out the bone, leave what you don't agree with alone. But there are tidbits of perfection and insightfulness in some of these folks' videos. So I'm going to let some of it play. We're going to go up some other things. But again, go to this man's channel. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel. Go ahead and give a like to his video because you are watching it through proxy. This is the Doug Rice Show. Thank you so much. We're witnessing the last days. It is 4:56, 13th of December. We have about 40 people here. We've never had that many, and I do appreciate that is sure plenty. If you do feel the need, please give that need a heed and you know, offer your support to the show. The scrolling links are down below. All right, let's hear a little bit more what Kevin has to say.
And now, at the same time, this was December 10th, all these news headlines are coming out about people unable to buy food. So it seems like there's a general consensus and a collective effort to pump out the same news and information at the same time for a specific and particular reason. And in this instance, the reason was to normalize the situation. And we will normalize the situation of being unable to afford food. We will normalize the situation of being able to not afford your car payment and your vehicle being repossessed. We will normalize eviction. We will normalize all the things that are coming for those who are not ready, those who are not aware, and those who are not prepared. I actually have some information that I want to bring to you. I want to bring this to you guys a little bit later. I have notes here, and I think that what we're going to do is we're going to end up doing a live stream. I think you guys are enjoying the live stream, so we might do a live stream, Scroll Tribe and I. But it's going to include a talk and discussion and conversation about Social Security and the 2024 Social Security increases, which are angering some Americans.
No sound. Thank you so much. I looked. Thank you. Thank you so much. I stopped because I was saying I wanted to give him some time. And my apologies, folks. Thank you. Thank you. Apologies. My apologies, folks. I wanted to get to weather. Kevin had a lot more to say. I try to click over and click the way and it doesn't click, so I apologize. But now we're going to move over to Open Your Eyes, which is more weather. But this one caught my eye because it said London underwater, more than 200 boroughs in distress after flooding. It just seems that the folks, that the Gentiles just have it coming, huh? Just keep coming and coming. Here we go.
The UK was hit by strong winds, heavy rain, and flooding overnight as the Met Office issued a yellow weather warning across the country. Amber rain warnings are in effect for the northeast of England and East Scotland, while a yellow warning has been issued for the northeast of Scotland. In the northeast of Scotland, a council has urged residents to protect their homes from flooding, and holiday centres have reopened in parts of Ambershire.
Rain that we will be very easily overcome, and these people's livelihoods affected. So it is a concern for the people of Brecon.
Traffic disruptions are expected across much of the rail networks in Scotland and the northeast due to power outages and flooding on a number of lines.
Well, you guys don't hear that right now? Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Sometimes they get me. Sometimes they get me. I do apologize. Well, that was flooding, and she couldn't really speak well anyway, so it was very, very thick Russian accent. I'm so sorry, no sound. You know, they do what they can to try to shut me down, but I'm pretty resilient, and there's not too much they haven't done that I have not had overcome. So, all right, so you know what? I've been on for a while. I appreciate all you guys being here and watching me. I do. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but if it brings what I expect, then I'm through. Let me just make this announcement now that you can hear me. Yeah, they got me, and I didn't think they'd ever get near me. I usually pull off miracles, and I got you. And this one, I don't think I'm able to pull off. So that as a result, the show may have to go off. So it's not a big deal for me. I think I've done quite a bit. I've had a good run. I may show up tomorrow morning before I'm done. Who knows? Because I'm accustomed to getting up and doing these shows. But at this point, I'm a little too far behind and up to my neck in it. And so I'm going to have to just grin it. You know, I have to just accept what's going on. But it won't be long, perhaps before I'm back, if I have to go. And if so, I appreciate everyone listening to the Doug Reich Show. Yes, sirree, Bob. All right, well, look, it's 5 o'clock. I've done quite a bit. I don't try to stay on. I try not to stay on over an hour any longer because, you know, I try to keep the show, keep giving and keep going stronger. So, all right, folks, thanks so much for showing. Cue the music. I got 39 people in here. I appreciate you being here. I don't want to wear you out. It's 5 o'clock, 5:03, and it's time I go. So thanks for tuning in to me. Music. I'm hoping you guys can hear that. Thank you so much. I wanted to give my opinion on Leave the World Behind. I wanted to give that review and tell you what was on my mind. I wanted to give you weather and news and did that as well. And that's all I got to say as far as I can tell. Please like, subscribe, and share this live. Use the giving links below so I can survive. If I don't see you again, hey, remember when? All right, folks, you have a wonderful day. And if you are going to be on your way and out there, my Negroes in public places, do me a favor, get that goddamned grin off your faces. Y'all take it easy.